back, everyone. Our next guest is an Oscar-winning filmmaker behind An Inconvenient Truth, along with documentaries about Bill Gates, U2, Jimmy Page, and Malala. His new film, Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, focuses on one of Canada's national treasures. Take a look.
The walking thing really freaks people out.
Oh, look.
But I won't hide it from you.
Hey.
And you can do with it what you will. If you pity me, it's never gonna get to me. I'm empathetic. I going on. Hey, how you doing?
Take your time, take your time.
I'm a tough son of a... I'm a cockroach, and I've been through a lot of stuff.
You can't kill a cockroach.
Can't kill a cockroach.
Still premieres at the Hot Dogs Festival tonight, and we're absolutely thrilled to welcome director Davis Guggenheim to our show. Welcome. Very pleased. Davis, you have covered so many topics and so many people for your work. I'm curious to know what you think what draws you to a subject or a person, and how did Michael J. Fox fit into that?
For me, it's me. It's like, does this person inspire me? And Michael's amazing. His story is amazing, but he as a person has something to teach me. He's got this terrible diagnosis, but he's got this great spirit. And I want some of that. I don't have Parkinson's, but I want what he has.
That spirit.
Okay, so we know why you chose Michael, but why did Michael choose you? And thank you. And what does Jimmy Page have to do with it?
Well, someone prepped you. See, there's some people over there working. I made this film about the electric guitar with Jimmy Page, who was in Led Zeppelin, The Edge from U2. We had a premiere here in Toronto with a film about U2 and Jack White. And Michael J. Fox, as you remember in Back to the Future, plays the guitar. Obsessed, and a very good electric guitar player. Was like, I saw your movie, I'm in. So that was an easy sell.
God.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, the film is absolutely incredible, and it's, for me at least, it was like going down a nostalgia sort of highway, like the idea of family ties, Back to the Future, and Teen Wolf. I didn't remember it, but that was all around the same time.
Yeah.
So I imagine you had the same sort of feeling looking at all of those things again. Did Michael J. Fox, was he the way you imagined him to be?
Yes and no. I mean, when you see this clip, you see a guy who's struggling walking. And I think you might think of that, oh, I know what that movie's gonna be. It's gonna be one of... It's actually, the movie is very much a wild ride about the 80s. You know, even though he's changed on the surface, inside he's that same indomitable, wonderful, puckish, and extremely funny guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does he feel looking back at the 80s when he was like probably the biggest star, you know, big movies, big TV shows, winning awards?
It's funny, he says in the movie, I was bigger than bubblegum.
he was huge, right?
Yeah, but he says it now with a kind of irony, and because he's saying none of it meant anything. It was all paper and feathers, meaning, I mean, he left Canada, he dropped out of high school, and in 3 years had the top 2 movies of that summer and the #1 TV show. It's the biggest movie star in the world. But none of it mattered, because when he got this diagnosis, the world shifted for him.
Yeah.
And that's when the real figuring out life starts to happen. And I think that's really what's special about this movie, is it asks all of us what's important.
And he was diagnosed, he was just in his 20s, and he kept it a secret for 7 years.
Yeah.
And he was even, like, he was on Spin City at that time, keeping it a secret.
Yes.
What did he tell you or share with you about that time and how difficult that was to hide it?
Well, it's interesting. What's special about this movie is he never intended to be a role model. He wanted to go to Hollywood to be famous. But then this thing comes, he gets this diagnosis. And you think, well, he's gonna say, I'm gonna do the right thing. No, he did the wrong thing. He drank too much. He says he was an alcoholic. He came back to family tie. Well, that was, if Parkinson's was after that, but he really didn't want to face it. And then it just got too difficult. He was doing a live show. He was hiding his hand. And he had to face it. And that, like all of us, we don't want to face our mortality, but when he does, and when we do, he found this gift that this terrible diagnosis gave him. And I think that's why the movie is so meaningful.
You, in making this film, you had unprecedented access
Yeah.
into his life,
Yeah.
his environment, his rehab sessions, doctor's appointments. But he doesn't often talk about the pain that he experiences, like day to day, living with this disease. So, what did you learn about Parkinson's in spending all this time with him?
Well, the first thing I asked when I said, let's do a movie was, I don't want to make a film about Parkinson's, which doesn't mean we avoid it, but I love the idea that we all have something like Parkinson's in our lives. We all have a loved one that struggles. We all have work struggles. We have family struggles. We all have our mortality. And so I wanted what he's dealing with to speak to all of us. Yeah.
So, I think for viewers, especially with a documentary, you can really change people's minds, or at least ask them to think about something differently, right?
Maybe.
A person, a person or an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the hope anyway when you go into it.
Yeah.
So, for you as a documentarian, is there something that has changed your mind about? Yeah, like where you flipped, or you have gotten more introspective about something, or?
I love this question, because after the first day of interviewing him, and I was like, what's that gonna be like? With his Parkinson's, sometimes his words were a little slurry, his energy ran out sooner than most people, his medication does this. When I left that interview, I walked back to my hotel and I thought, I want what he has. Now, how could that be? This guy's got a chronic disease. It's relentless, it only gets worse. I'm healthy. How is it that I want what he has? That's the gift.
Wow.
He talks about Parkinson's as the gift that keeps on taking. Think about that for a minute.
Thank you so much for your film, your work, for being here today, Davis. It was such a thrill meeting you. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie premieres at the Hot Dogs Festival tonight. Head to hotdogs.ca for more ticket and streaming info, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for watching. We've got lots more discussion and debates on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.